Senior State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. I want to first thank Representative Ali Brennan, Representative Jason Doucette, Representative David Michel, and Representative Brenda Kupchik, and the others who support this amendment. Special thanks to Representative Kupchik and Senator Duff, who paved the way for this day years ago after co-chairing the task force on puppy mills, and we thank you for laying that difficult groundwork. Responsible breeders do not sell to pet shops. It's not how they operate, and near all breed clubs have codes of ethics that prohibit selling to pet shops. Connecticut pet stores who sell dogs not only source from puppy mills, but we now have recent evidence that they are sourcing from some of the worst puppy mills in the country. In response to a public records request to the Connecticut Department of Agriculture, the Humane Society of the United States was provided with the most recent certificates of origin for puppies sold by Connecticut pet shops. These certificates of origin verify that Connecticut pet shops have sourced puppies from breeders and brokers with abysmal animal welfare records. Every year, the Humane Society of the United States publishes a horrible 100 report detailing a sampling of problem puppy mills in the United States. And according to the certificates of origin provided by the Connecticut Department of Agriculture, between November 2018 and March 2019, Connecticut pet stores sourced puppies from at least 20 commercial breeders and brokers with violations horrific enough to land them in the HSUS Horrible 100 report. Now, it's notable that this is not a complete list of all breeders and brokers that Connecticut pet stores are sourcing from, but a sampling of facilities that were identified in the certificates of origin provided from the state, and that we had recent inspection reports or photos from the USDA and state inspection agencies. And despite this limitation, 11 of 13 Connecticut pet shops are represented by that report that we found. The first breeder listed in the report is Milton Lewis from Nebraska. We found multiple inspection reports from both the state and the feds, the USDA. The USDA inspection reports from October 2017 and June 2018 showed no non-compliant items identified. Yet the Nebraska State Department of Agriculture conducted inspections on Milton Lewis's facility during September 2017, December 2017, May 2018, and July 2018, all of which that showed very serious animal welfare violations. Because Connecticut's sourcing law only considers USDA inspection reports, it would be perfectly acceptable for a Connecticut pet store to source from Milton Lewis based on his USDA report, even though state inspection reports found egregious violations, including puncture wounds, junk and trash in pens and yard, fly strikes caused by improper pest control, large accumulations of feces, and even a puppy with his leg bit off. Now here's a disturbing excerpt from the state report where the state inspector advised Mr. Lewis, quote, not to forget to groom the poodle male that was matted and had burrs in his fur, and he replied that he was just going to have the dog euthanized to fix the problem. Then the inspector said, quote, she said she could find him a shelter or a rescue for the dog, but Milton said he would rather euthanize the dog to fix the problem. According to the state report, he also euthanized 13 other dogs for reasons cited as, quote, grooming required, lack of buyer interest, and mixed breed dogs / puppies. The inspector mentioned the option of rescues and shelters again to Milton, but Milton rejected. On September 27th, documentation of euthanasias were presented. This illustrates what the types of businesses with whom Connecticut pet shops are dealing, and it's also a good example of why sourcing laws that rely on USDA compliance are now worthless. But even with the USDA's minimum standards and poor enforcement, it's now harder than ever to get information from USDA inspection reports. Here's an example of a fully redacted report, and more commonly, here's an example of violations, but with all the identifying information removed. And it's impossible to connect now compliant or non-compliant reports with breeders. A ban on the sale of commercially bred dogs, cats, and rabbits is the only recourse we have left to stop puppy mill traffickers. Connecticut must join California, Maryland, and over 300 localities who have bans in place to fight puppy mills. I'd like now to introduce Julie Stankiewicz, HSUS. She's one of our district leaders, helping to mobilize animal advocates here in Connecticut.
My name is Julie Stankiewicz, and I'm a constituent of Representative Jason Doucette, and as Annie mentioned, I'm also a district leader for the Humane Society of the United States. I would like to say how proud and grateful I am of Representative Doucette's co-sponsorship of HB 5386 to fight puppy mills, a Connecticut state law that bans the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits in pet stores and safeguards against sham rescues is needed to fight the very abusive puppy mill industry. Thank you again, Representative Doucette, for championing this legislation to put an end to the suffering of these animals and to create a more humane and just society. And speaking on behalf of other Connecticut-based supporters of the Humane Society of the United States, I want to say that we care about animals and we always vote. Thank you.